QuakeCon 2021 has come and gone, but it has left us with something special concerning the franchise of Quake. A lot of people in the community thought for a while that we were going to get a Quake remake or reboot, but instead we were given a remaster of the original Quake game. Quake is over 25 years old, and getting a fresh coat of paint is something I can live with. The game pioneered 3D shooters, and the remaster brought a whole lot of new and old players back to play it. It may not be perfect, but the nostalgia hits you in the right places. How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a great day so far. I wanted to give my 2 cents about the Quake Remaster, which is way overdue, and the possibilities of a new Quake game that could still be on the horizon. If you are new to the channel and love these kinds of games, then you're in the right place. Quake is one of those games that not a whole lot of people have heard about unless you are into first-person shooters, have played the game in the 90s, or have been a fan of 9 Inch Nails. The game has been a huge staple to the shooter genre for id Software and sparked a lot of new ideas, such as a successful arena shooter, and a kind of spin-off with the story using the Strogg as the antagonists. On top of that, there are many modern shooters like Dusk, and Medieval, and Ion Fury that take a lot of elements from Quake and incorporate them into what a modern Quake game could have looked like with some alterations. If you haven't played those games yet, then you are missing out big time. After 25 years, the first Quake game would definitely be in need of some kind of update or remaster, and lo and behold, we have the masterpiece that Machine Games and Night Dive have been working on. It's too bad the rumors about a reboot were false, but I'll mention more about that in a bit. Machine Games has a good track record with id games, mainly with the Wolfenstein series, and I'm sure the remaster was a nice little project to do on the side for the community. Not only do we have a remaster of the 4 original episodes, but also expansions, and the menu has a huge overhaul as well. Obviously, a game being released back in the 90s didn't have much you could customize as far as your PC settings, but now you can change things as if you're using a source port built into the game. For those who are new to source ports, they basically give you a ton more options than the vanilla settings offer you in Steam, for instance. Playing vanilla Quake on Steam before the remaster was horrendous. For me, it was almost near impossible to play full screen, and there was no music from the soundtrack, so playing it was a little boring without some ambient music or something. Maybe I was missing something, but even then, for the average player, it would be annoying. I would use the source port Dark Places, which was way better, but now with the update, there's not much of a need to go back to a source port if you want to stick to the original experience versus playing with mods and such. The menu gives you a ton of options to play with, much like what Bethesda did for the re-release of the OG Doom games on Steam and for consoles. You can mess around with the FOV and have a very long rocket launcher, and other weapons look insanely longer than normal. Plus, with the longest setting on the FOV just makes it look weird in my opinion. But of course, if you like long-looking shaft-like weapons, then you do you. You could of course push the FOV all the way down and have a stubby tip. Other things that you can adjust would be the FPS, which honestly I think most computers should be able to handle at least 60 frames, so I don't think anyone will be having problems there. And of course the ability to enable always run, crosshairs on and off, texture qualities, language settings, key bindings, and the classic ending script when you close out of the game. Other new features that were added would be the achievements, the Quake 64 add-on, and many more. In the end, there are plenty of settings and features to take advantage of whether you are playing on console or PC. It's always nice to get the settings just right, but it's nothing without the gameplay. The campaign comes back in all of its glory, just like the old days. You have the 4 episodes with 4 different difficulties to choose from at the start of each new playthrough. For those that didn't know, which would probably be a very small audience, the Nightmare difficulty is hidden, which I believe Medieval pays an homage to Quake for doing that. On top of that, there are now other episodes and expansions to keep you busy from the base campaign. The cool thing is Machine Games created an episode from the ground up, and it's been fun to play, to say the least, when I don't die so much, of course. The difficulty seems to be a bit harder at times in the remaster compared to the vanilla version. It could just be that I haven't played it in a while, or Machine Games or Night Dive wanted to crank up the difficulty. Let me know what you guys think. The levels play about the same and feel more fluid, all thanks to the update. The lighting and environments look amazing for being over 25 years old with a little change to them. The story is the same, but for those who are new to the franchise, Quake is kind of confusing. The first game deals primarily with creatures that have invaded our world through slipgates, and the boss of it all is something called shub-niggurath. The protagonist's name is Ranger, but that wasn't known to us until Quake Champions or possibly sometime earlier. The other games deal with an alien race known as the Strogg, which is basically the Borg from Star Trek in a nutshell. There is another game that is more of an arena multiplayer called, well, Quake 3 Arena, and then recently Quake Champions. Both of those games combine characters from other id-related games such as Doom, and it is purely multiplayer for the skilled arena players. After the release of the original Doom games, multiplayer started to pick up, and id Software wanted to obviously incorporate it into the Quake series. Quake 1 does have a multiplayer, but it's definitely not quite as polished or new like Quake Champions, so it takes some getting used to if you haven't played an oldie like this game. The remaster allows you to have the ability to join custom games, create your own lobby, and somewhat customize your character. I dipped my toes into the multiplayer for a little bit, and it's definitely not my cup of tea. It's difficult to get used to as the player can move around really quick and everyone is bunny hopping like no tomorrow. Much like how battle mode was great to have in Doom Eternal, it didn't capture the attention of everyone, but it was nice to at least have a taste of multiplayer. So in other words, Quake is more of a single player game, but you can have a taste of the multiplayer if you want to try it. On top of that, you can also do a co-op in the campaign. I have yet to try that out, especially for the harder difficulties. There really needs to be more options to have co-op in modern games, but sometimes it feels like it is being faded out with other modes. Nothing beats a good old LAN party, right? It's really great to see how much care has been put into the remaster. Other game developers would just update the graphics and leave everything else alone. For this remaster, we got more than what we could have expected. I'm just waiting for that proper Commander Keen remaster to happen now. Being a fan over the years of the Quake series is a dream come true. With all of these remasters of old games and modern retro games, brings in heavy doses of nostalgia. I really love everything that id Software makes, and I'm glad Machine Games and Night Dive were able to be a part of this remaster. They definitely put their heart and soul into it. This remaster has been great to get back into the game, and a lot of it is new for me, even without the remaster. I remember growing up in the 90s where my older brother had the first Quake game, and I always thought it was the coolest game at the time. I never even knew that there were more episodes after defeating Chthon, if I said that right, in the first episode. Either we just had the shareware version or my brother just didn't let me play more. I have had this same situation for other games like Heretic and Hexen, and with this remaster it's great to see new players enjoy it for the first time like I did growing up. The future of Quake seems to be looking good, and I'm still thinking that there could be a reboot of some kind down the road. I had a recent video talking about the rumors of a reboot or remaster, but in the end it was a remaster of the original Quake. However, I think that we are just getting a tease of what we can expect for the Quake series. For the most part, we know what to expect from Doom Eternal, such as Horde mode, the last of the master levels, more updates and patches, but other than that, I would think that part of the team is working on another game at this point. Now, of course, it could be the next Doom game, but I personally think it would be better to give Doom a little break and focus on another title like Quake. What better time to get a reboot going for a popular franchise, especially after the 25th anniversary? If id Software were to create a reboot, they could either focus on the Lovecraftian version of Quake with the Strahd universe, or combine them both. Honestly, either approach would satisfy the fans, and I loved both storylines as well. It feels like we are in the time of either reboots or remasters. As of recently, there's this remaster, the remaster for Diablo 2, Dead Space, and many more. At times it looks like the developers are lazy and just want a cash grab with the remaster, but in all honesty, I do not mind replaying a game that I grew up with. Not only that, a lot of remasters are for games that I missed, much like Diablo 2. id Software did an amazing job with rebooting the Doom franchise, so I'm sure that they can have the same treatment to Quake. Obviously, take everything with a grain of salt as nothing is confirmed yet, and we probably won't hear anything until next year. Let me know what you guys think about a possible reboot down in the comment section. Like I mentioned, I'm excited to be a fan of the Quake games and look forward to what the future brings for the franchise. Other than that, I am very satisfied with the remaster for Quake and will spend a good amount of time playing it. I hope you all liked this video, and if so, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it so we can get it out there more. Also, check out my social media accounts to see other things over there. Hope you all have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.